Today I want to dig into how to ask people for advice via email. There's a lot of you guys that have reached out with emails to me, and I love answering your questions. I love doing this sort of thing. But there are also a few of you that reach out, and it's clear that you have the right intentions, but the way that you're phrasing the ask would turn most people off. Like, I'm usually going to answer these type of emails just because I love doing it. But if you're emailing someone like way bigger, like a Tim Ferriss or a Noah Kagan or someone with an actual audience, they would not respond to an email like the one I'm going to show you. And in this video, I want to take an email that was actually sent to me and go through it line by line, improve it, and show you how to write an email to ask for advice from people you look up to. Let's jump into it. So this is the email I got from Gustav Jandrup. I do not remember if I responded to this one or not, but if I did, I know this must have sat in my inbox for at least a couple weeks with me just like looking at it and not wanting to respond. So let's jump into this. Gustav Jandrup, advice for a young guy trying to break into marketing. I would actually do, this is a pretty good subject line, but advice is very broad. So I would say, quick question from a guy trying to break into marketing. And the reason why I would phrase it like that is a quick question is kind of a standard subject line, but it's also quick, right? If you say advice, I'm expecting an email like this one where it's basically paragraph after paragraph of information I don't really need to answer the question. And then the biggest point of this email that I'll get to in a second, 3 questions that are unanswerable. The bigger question here, when you're emailing anyone that you look up to, is what do you actually want from them, right? If somebody like Noah Kagan, who charges $1,000 an hour or more, is going to sit down and answer an email like this, or if I am going to as well, you know, not putting myself anywhere near the same level as him, if I'm going to sit down and write this email, like I'm pretty busy, right? I got like a company to run and stuff. So could you point me to some resources that go beyond the basics on business development, digital marketing, and sales? So 3 different things. Or even some books that are a must read, which lays some sort of foundation for all the other subjects. Or maybe experience is the best and only teacher. So he's talking to himself at this point, and this is something that a lot of people do. And do you have any general pointers on how you can think of when reading about my situation? The biggest piece of advice when you're emailing somebody that you look up to is to have a specific ask, right? What does Gustav want from me? Is it books? He wants multiple books? Is that what he wants? Or maybe experience is the best and only teacher. What does this mean, right? How would I respond to this email even if I wanted to respond to it? So in terms of phrasing the question ask, could you point me to some resources that go beyond the basics of business development, digital marketing, and sales? I would say something like, I've already read, like I Will Teach You to Be Rich, 4-Hour Work Week, and Purple Cow. What is one book that has changed your life the most? Something like that. What is the one book that has changed your life the most? And this is the phrasing here is super important. So if you already say, I've already read this book, and this book, you're saying that you put in the work. Where if you compare this to the way that it was written before, could you point me to some resources that go beyond the basics on business development, digital marketing, and sales, or even some books that are a must read? This looks like he hasn't done any research. So that's the ask, right? You're emailing, you've got a very specific ask, and then now let's cut this fat here, because this is something, when I was doing the initial read through of the email, I stopped reading pretty much around so me. Now that I'm saying it, I think he means social media. I've never seen it written by this. So I would actually just, boom. Hi, my name is Gustav. I am a Danish 20-year-old, and I've been really inspired by your YouTube videos, especially the one about XYZ. So especially the one about cold emailing Fortune 500 companies, or whatever that is, right? Something specific. This part is unnecessary if you're sending it out to a bunch of people. This specific call out. So this is actually generic enough. If you really want to boost your response rate, you add something specific like that. And then this, okay, me and a friend want to start an agency. And I'm excusing most of these grammar errors because I assume Gustav is not a native English speaker. Gustav, if you are a native English speaker, I'm not impressed. But if you're not a native English speaker, that's why I'm forgiving most of these. So me and a friend want to try starting an agency. We don't care if it's ultimately failure, as we are doing it mostly to learn from experience. Mai is very talented and experienced at creating content in video format, and he has an eye for design as well. Really inspired by your YouTube videos. We're actually starting an agency because of them. That is huge, right? You took advice from the person you looked up to and you're taking action. Any sort of entrepreneur or anyone who puts out these type of videos, Patrick Bet-David, Gary Vaynerchuk, like they only really want to see the people that are taking action. So if you tell me that you watched my videos and you're starting an agency because of them, that's huge, right? Put that in the first line. So my name is Gustav. I'm a Danish 20-year-old who's been really inspired by your YouTube videos. We're actually starting an agency because of them. And then just clean this line up a little bit. At the moment, we're helping 8 people with their marketing for free to confirm that we know what we're doing and to have case studies, testimonials before we actually try to launch an agency. But as soon as we have confirmed that we get results, we'll start charging everyone. I've already read these 3 books and enjoyed the basics, but my question to you is, what's the one book that has changed your life the most? Best regards, Gustav. This is a tight email. This is the type of email that would get a response. If you emailed someone like Seth Godin using this sort of template, I wouldn't be surprised if he responded, and fairly quickly. So that's it for this cold email teardown. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like this video to encourage this type of content on YouTube. Subscribe for more B2B sales training. And if you need marketing support for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Thanks.